What if being seen didn't require you to have all the right answers? What if I told you you don't need to be an expert or sound perfect or know exactly what to say before you show up? What if the only thing that is standing between you and visibility was the belief that you have to get it right first? Hi, I'm Leanne Harris, and you are listening to These Boots Are Made for Healing. And this week, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately, because in just a few days, I am going to do something that I never thought I would be able to do. I'm speaking in front of a room full of people about endometriosis, about my journey, and about how the work I do can help others who are also suffering. A few years ago, I would have been absolutely terrified. In fact, a few months ago, I would have said no. I would have convinced myself that I wasn't ready, that I didn't know enough, that I'd probably say the wrong thing and be judged for it. Don't get me wrong, I am still a bit nervous, but that's absolutely normal. But I'm also excited. And that shift, that ability to move forward, to put myself out there, that's what I want to talk about today. Because being seen doesn't come from confidence, it doesn't come from having all the right answers. It comes from choosing to show up anyway, even when it feels uncomfortable. I don't know about you, but I've noticed something in myself and in the client work that I do. We hold ourselves back from being visible because we're waiting for it to be right. We're waiting to have the perfect words, the perfect caption, the perfect pitch, the perfect whatever it is. We're waiting until we sound like an expert, until we know we won't stumble. And in the meantime, we stay quiet. But that hesitation isn't actually about the words, it's about permission. For me, being visible used to feel like something I had to earn, like I needed to be more qualified, more polished, more certain before I deserved to take up space. And so I waited. I stayed small, I stayed safe. But that safety, it came at a cost because for the past few months, few years, in fact, I had so many things that I wanted to say. I had knowledge that I wanted to share. I had a way of helping people that I knew could make a difference. But I wasn't doing it because I was waiting until I felt ready. And the truth is, you can wait forever for that feeling because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. So, let me tell you about this talk that I'm giving. I have been asked to speak at the Endometriosis South Coast meeting about my journey with endometriosis and how belief coding helped me to manage my symptoms. And well, if you've been listening to my previous episodes, then you'll know that this is something I would never have agreed to do before. A few years ago, if somebody had asked me to stand up in front of a room full of people and share my story, I would have thought, why? What have I got to say that people would want to listen to? I would have made all the excuses. Actually, I just would have straight up just said, no, I'm not doing it. But when I was asked this time, something in me just said, yeah. And if I'm totally honest, I said yes before my brain had even kicked in. And then I suddenly thought, what the hell am I doing? But then I caught myself. Somebody actually trusted me enough to ask. They believed in my story, and I felt honored to be part of it. And I realized I'd already given myself permission to be a work in progress, to be visible while I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I'll have some nerves when I'm there, and that is completely normal. But I am more excited than I am terrified, and that is the shift. I'm excited for the experience. I'm excited to have the opportunity to speak about what I do and how it can help others with their own symptoms, because I know what it's like to suffer with endometriosis. I know what it's like to feel helpless, to be in excruciating pain, to feel like your body is working against you. Let me take you back to the beginning. After my husband and I got married in August 2020, we decided to try for a baby. Time passed, unfortunately, with no luck on the baby front, but then a lump appeared, a very painful lump in my belly button. I couldn't bear clothing around it. Even the seatbelt in the car would hurt if it touched it. So obviously, I went to the doctors to question it. They thought it was potentially from an umbilical hernia that I'd had when I was a baby. They thought it was just that coming back because they do have a tendency to do that. And so it was treated firstly as a returning umbilical hernia. But it continued to get worse over the years. I even ended up passing out at work once due to the pain of this lump. And so I was finally sent into surgery to have the lump removed and tested. And that's when they came back and told me that I had endometriosis. Since then, I've had another operation to remove the endo, and they then confirmed it was stage 3 to 4 and that there were further lesions around the bowel area, which means that I would potentially need to go in for a third operation. And that made me think, I don't really want to go in for a third operation. I don't want to keep putting my body through the trauma. I don't want to keep having it lasered off because it just grows back. It doesn't actually remove it. It just gets rid of it for some time, but then it grows back. So it made me think, I hadn't actually qualified in belief coding at that time, but did this actually help? I knew that belief coding had helped with other conditions such as fibromyalgia, menopause, period pains, cramps. So I thought I'd test it out and see if it works for my endo. I had one session on the pain in my hip. I used to get excruciating pain all around my left hip. In that session, I was taken to a memory of being in the womb. There wasn't enough room and my legs felt cramped and I could feel the pain around my hip. The trapped emotion frustration came up. I removed that feeling in that moment, in that memory, and I replaced it with a more positive one. I can't remember exactly what that was now. This session was a while ago, but since then, I haven't really had much pain in that hip. I do get the occasional odd dull ache, but I've had issues with my hip from birth, but that's a whole nother story. But the actual pain, the pain that left me barely able to walk, gone. So, is that a coincidence? Has the session worked? I will let you decide that. But for me, I know that I'm definitely going to be using my skills as a belief coding facilitator to help me with more of my endometriosis symptoms, the fatigue, the pain, all of it. It's got to be worth a shot. So, this week is also Valentine's Day, and I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. I never have, partly because in the past I didn't always want to be celebrating it with the people I was with at the time. But more than that, I've never felt comfortable with how it's marketed as something only for couples who are already in love. For me, Valentine's Day should be about loving yourself or about opening up yourself to love if that's something that you want. And I don't just mean romantic love, I mean self love, acceptance, permission. You have to love yourself first, right? And I'm gonna be really honest here. This is something that I have only just recently learned how to do. Accepting myself didn't come naturally to me. It's something that I've had to learn through doing the work on myself, slowly, gently. I say gently, often uncomfortably. And when you really sit with that, it's actually a little sad, isn't it? That so many of us grow up never being shown how to love ourselves first. We're taught how to be useful, how to be liked, how to be good, productive, quiet, or strong, but not how to accept who we are exactly as we are. Self love for me now looks like allowing myself to be seen even when I don't have all the answers. It's saying I'm still worthy even when I'm unsure. that I'm allowed to take up space, even if I'm still figuring things out. And really, that is what this whole thing comes down to: being visible without certainty, showing up without needing to be perfect. That's self-love in action. And speaking of showing up, I'm in the process of finalizing the details for my first ever Facebook Live event. It's happening on the 17th of February inside my private Facebook group, Breakthroughs with Leeanne. This is another first for me. Instead of being scared, I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm excited to share the tools that have helped me so much become more confident in myself and in what I do. Tools that have helped me stop hiding, stop second guessing myself, and start trusting in my own voice. It's about meeting your future self and releasing the past with love. It's going to be emotional, but oh my God, it is going to be so empowering. So if you're not in the group yet, now is the perfect time to join. I'll leave a link in the show notes. So that's where I want to leave you with today. You don't need the right answers to be seen. You don't need to feel ready before you show up. It's about accepting yourself enough to show up as you are and be unapologetically you. I'd love to know where you're holding yourself back. What's one place in your life where you are waiting to feel ready before you're willing to be seen? And I want you to notice that, sit with it. But remember, readiness is a decision, it's not a feeling. Thank you, thank you, thank you again so much for listening. I'm honestly so glad that you're here, and I will see you again next week.